everybody, welcome back. And as you can see, Mama Vera has come to Cumberlachia. So today you get 2 for 1. So
it's so beautiful up here. I like to just stay.
Well, she's going to soon probably. We're going to get a cabin built probably right over there on the other side of the driveway. But today we're going to kind of go back to our southern roots, and we're going to do cornbread and beans and fried potatoes. We yesterday, and I feel terrible because I told y'all that I drove up to Middlesboro the other day and didn't even think about it. Got all the way back here. Mom came this weekend. We decided to go find Mama and our little grandma, which is my great-grandma, my great-great-grandma, her grandma and great-grandma. Their graves, and I was literally 2 minutes from them when I drove up there, and I feel terrible because I didn't go that day. But now I know where they're at, so I'm going to be taking flowers there all the time because I'm literally 35 minutes away. So this is kind of back to the roots with our grandparents and eating cornbread and beans, and it's like my favorite meal. I've already got beans over here on the stove. Can't get my hand in this little dorky little glove. And they've already started cooking down. It's our canned beans, and they're pinto beans. And Mom's already put a little bit of ham in here. She brought a big ham up that we're going to be using for number of things, mainly sandwiches, and maybe make some ham salad sandwiches for ourselves. But the main thing is always save your ham bone because that's good to put into your beans, and that's what we're going to do.
And I'm scaring him to death. I've got his new knife.
Yeah, she scares me with it. She's not going to cut herself as easily with a sharp knife, but
I love to take the ham bone and just cut it up and put it in my beans and cook them all day. The other day I made green beans and I put the ham bone in it, and oh, they were so good.
Is that good for this?
And that's what I'm going to do this time. I'm going to put my ham bone in there, and Greg's going to stir it up, but I am going to add some ham to it too.
Yeah, we got some ham cut off of it, but that ham bone's going to give out a lot of flavor from the marrow in the bone and the fat on there.
And then I'm going to add probably too much ham, but we've got quite a bit, so I'm going to add all of it I've got, and we'll eat it. I grew up on this, I tell you. That's what my daddy always liked, and that's what we always cooked. Pinto beans and fried potatoes. That was the main food. Once in a while we'd have pork chops or fried chicken, but that was for Sunday. That wasn't during the week. That was for Sunday.
All right, I'm just going to cover this, turn it up a little bit. Hello, Bee. We're going to get stung by a bee.
It's different cooking up here, I'll tell you.
Yeah, trying to learn with all this. So yeah, ignore all of our stuff back here. We got everything set up. Now, one thing we're going to do differently, and I have never done that, and I'm going to act like I know how to do it. I'm going to make cornbread in my cast iron Dutch oven. So let me get my large bowl for that. We're going to do a lot of walking back and forth, getting everything we need. I've got the cast iron already on the fire down there. I just use charcoal briquettes because it has been raining here for like a week and a half off and on. Everything's wet. So I got some charcoal briquettes. They're down there. They're nice white, and well, there's some red in there too. And what we're going to do is use that as our oven, and it's going to cook from the bottom, and then we'll put some briquettes up on top, and that's going to cook from the top. So hopefully the cornbread's going to turn out. So let me get flour and cornmeal. And what you doing?
I'm going to slice the potatoes for frying.
Oh, we got to have an onion in there too.
I'm not going to peel them because they're the white potato.
Yukon Gold with light skins.
I did wash them, and I did take off the bad spots.
Now, I do have my cornbread recipe on my website. I don't use it because I just kind of go by I've made it so many times I just go by looking at it. You're always going to use more cornmeal than you are flour. My grandpa Cecil, her dad, taught me how to make cornbread, and I accidentally put too much flour one time. He said, "We're not making bread, we're making cornbread. Let's get some cornmeal in there." So I'll use one of my big spoons, and I'll do 3 big scoops of cornmeal, and then I'll do 1.5 to 2 of flour. That way it's more cornmeal. And I'm just using Martha White's buttermilk. I like that, self-rising, and her flour. Just a southern thing. I like Martha White. So let's get that in there. And all I do is I put some butter, flour, cornmeal, oops, and a little bit on the ground for the ants, and a couple eggs, milk, and buttermilk. Well, buttermilk. I'm not going to put any milk in this. Just buttermilk. Let me get this out of the way. Making a mess already. Oops, that's the beans spoon. Let me get a smaller one out of here. And they're nice and thin because that way we don't have to stand as long for them to cook. Potatoes take a long time to cook. Less of the canned potatoes. And that's what I'm going to do this year is I'm canning all the potatoes I've got back here in the garden in those grow bags. Because once you can them, they're already kind of pre-cooked. And it's so much easier to just put them in there and you don't have to worry about par boiling them or anything, so they cook a lot faster. And I'm going to put 2 eggs in here.
My husband always slices the potatoes for me because he slices them so thin you can see through them.
So what do you like besides? I like pork chops. I should have got some pork chops to go with this, but we got plenty of ham.
I think we've got plenty because I put more ham in that than we should have. We put out twice as much ham in there.
Here, the flames over here on the stove. Have to keep watching the back corner. Remember, at one time it caught on fire on me. But I think I got it sealed up.
You do.
Oh yeah, you weren't here for that one.
No.
I was just cooking away, and all of a sudden I smelt wood burning. I said, well, that smells good. And I turned and I said, oh, it's my stove on fire.
Smells good, but oh my goodness, huh?
And I'm just going to get this like the consistency of a thick cake batter. Now, like I said, I've got the cast iron heating up down there. I didn't bring any Crisco or lard. One thing I forgot. So I'm going to put some butter in the bottom of the pan. That way it'll immediately start cooking this as I put it in. Now I've learned that if you make it just a tad bit runny like that, right over the sides, then by the time you put it into the pan, it's going to thicken up and be the right consistency. So that looks good right there. I'm going to set that there because I'm getting ready to get my cast iron out. So let's make some room, clean up some mess. Get my cast iron and bring it up here without burning myself.
And I think I cleaned about twice as many potatoes as I needed to. Oh well, I always do. I cleaned, I was going to take casseroles over to my cousin because his wife had passed away, and I told him I was going to bring him some, and I couldn't get a hold of him. I don't like that.
I should have had this butter in there. I would have had my Crisco or lard, but if I put the butter in and let it get heated up real hot, it would have burnt my butter. And I'm just using this to brown the bottom a little. So what I'm going to do is real quick put it over here on the stove and let that heat up. Just to melt the butter and get the butter a little sizzly so it'll crisp up the cornbread when I put it in. It's not as easy when you don't have a kitchen and you're working outside. You just got to kind of do what you can. So we'll get that burning up. Clean up a little bit here.
You kept telling me to chuck some casseroles, and I was going to, and I don't know if I told you what happened when I went over there.
No.
I took him over, and I kept calling him and never could get an answer.
You want me to do that for you?
I sure do.
Okay. Switch.
I never could get an answer when I was calling him. So,
once you cut off the flat end so
yeah.
it doesn't wobble, put the flat end down, and then you can just, and it don't go nowhere.
He is just so smart. Anyway, I never could get an answer from him, so I just took him anyway, and I got over there, and my cousin called me while I was at my other cousin's house. I was at Gladys's, and June called, and she said, "Did you know that Dean died?"
Your other cousin.
Said, "You're kidding me." And that was my cousin that I took the casseroles over for. It was his brother. And I'm like, oh my goodness. That's why I couldn't get a hold of him. And I felt so bad because he had just lost his wife. They had just lost their sister a year ago. And now he lost his wife. So I never did get his casseroles to him. How many potatoes do you think we need?
I don't know. You've got a whole mess of them cleaned.
I know.
And I don't think we're going to need them all.
I know.
I think this is all we need.
I know.
You want to do the onion, or do you want me to do the onion?
I'll peel it. Oh, well, I'll let you do it. You're so good at it. I've seen you do it before. I'll just put the water out of these, and what do you want?
Oh, the compost bin. There it is.
Compost down there.
It disappeared on me.
Yep. I'll get rid of these.
Okay, my butter is melted, so I'm going to just pull the skin off of the onion here. Run over here because I want to get this cornbread on the fire because it's going to take a while to cook.
So I never did get Chuck's stuff over to him.
Okay, don't touch this, it's hot.
I'm not going to.
I'm just going to, like I said, look at that. It all puffed up. It always does. So that's why I get a little bit runny to begin with.
That's because your grandpa taught you how to do it.
All right. I would have liked it a little bit hotter so I could hear the sizzle, but I do see it bubbling around the edges here.
Everybody talks about how their moms taught them how to cook. But you know what? I think my dad taught me more about cooking than my mother did. I don't know. He was like Greg, he liked to cook, so he taught me more about cooking than Mommy did.
Okay, so I got the skillet hot on the bottom. It's going to sit on top of those charcoals, and it's going to continue to be hot. I'm going to put probably 7 or 8 coals on top of this. That way it'll bake from the top. And when we got this stuff out my tongs, there they are.
Yeah, I laughed because I brought Greg a bunch of wooden utensils because last time he was up here he didn't have hardly anything. So I thought I'd be real smart and bring him some because I have so many. And I told him I did, and he says, Mom, I just got me a bunch too.
Okay.
And I said, well, then you've got double what you need, don't you?
So I've got this on here, and I'm just going to put some of these hot coals right on top. They're white, that haven't fallen apart. Yeah, they're going to fall apart on me, some of them. We were busy trying to get stuff done this morning. If you notice behind me, this garden's a little more light because we had to cut down some trees that were shading it. And it doesn't seem like this would do much, but these coals heat will go right into that cast iron and it will make it real hot, just like it's in an oven. And we're just not going to touch it for about 20 minutes. Just trying to get all the good ones up here. And we're going to see if Greg knows how to do cornbread on a campfire. So we're just going to let that sit. Okay, so our beans are bubbling away.
I know, I just stirred them.
I'm going to turn them down a little bit. Actually turned it off. There we go. It is like in the 80s up here. I am sweating like crazy. I don't know if you can see those beans are boiling. Hold on. We'll just leave those sit there. And I am going to take a spoon. If you haven't made beans before, I like to take a spoon and just mash down a few of the beans. That's going to release the starch. It's going to make the juice thicker. And I just push it against the side a little bit just to break some of the beans up. And like I said, these aren't going to take as long to cook as it would if we were using dried beans, because these are already cooked because they were canned. So there we go. Now we'll just let those simmer away. And you want over here for this. So I need to get you another skillet. So we're going to move the beans to the back burner. Put Mom up in the front burner. Put you some fire back there.
We're going to need a big skillet, I think. I think we cut up too much. But that's a habit I have. My husband says I always cook too much, which I do.
Well, I got all kinds of lodge up here today, don't I? We don't need this right now. We'll set it back here in case you need it. You want butter in here to cook them in?
Yes, since you don't have any oil. I didn't think about that either. Oh, well, they'll be good.
Hey, butter, everything's good with butter.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Ask Paula.
Let's move these. Okay, you can have the stove for the...
I'll have to let it heat up a little bit.
Ooh, we got a lot there, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, we're gonna let this heat up and then we'll get the potatoes on and start getting them cooked and we'll be back. Okay, so we're back. Mom's gonna cut up some green onions for the cornbread and beans and the potatoes. Everything's so good. Even the birds are whistling. They're wanting some of this. So I'm gonna go down and get the cornbread off of the fire. If I can find my stuff. Hold on. So I'm gonna toss these coals off the top. Rah. And put this out the way because it is hot.
Real hot or just hot?
Real hot. And I don't know if it's going to come out like Grant Alabama's skillet because it isn't as seasoned, but we'll get it out. Lodge does a great job on seasoning their pans, but it's nothing like a pan that's been seasoned for 20, 30 years by Mama or Grandma or Mom. So let me see if I can make sure it comes out from around the pan. Ooh. I might have lied. I might be able to get it out here. Ha ha ha. I'm excited. Hold on.
I seasoned it earlier.
Since we only have one cutting board, Mom's using it for the green onions. We're going to get this out. There's the cornbread. Wow, hardly stuck at all. Lodge, you did a good job on seasoning these.
Be careful, you're burning that cute thing.
No, this cute thing is not burnt from me. This cute thing over here was going like this, holding it, and she burnt this. So you guys have seen, you've seen I know how to use it. Okay, I'm going to put this back out of the way. I'm going to sample some of that corn. Wow, cornbread, good. So we have our cornbread. It's not as brown and everything as it would be in the oven cooking at 400, but it is crispy. Very tasty. Now we're going to, you got your onions ready?
I've got my onions ready.
Let's get the, oh, excuse me. Let's get the potatoes off here. Now I'm just going to turn all the lids over up here, out of the way. Here's our potatoes, nice and cooked. And beans. Now, these beans smell amazing. Look out, I don't want
We may even get a bear or two.
No, I don't want any bears up here in Cumberlachia.
Oh.
I still have the ham bone in there. I didn't take it out, I just let it stay in there. You can see it thickened up somewhat. I like a lot of broth because I'm gonna put it over my cornbread so it all soaks right into there. Ooh, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay, but I put mine, I just take a dish and I'll put everything in it together. That's how I make mine.
Really?
Yep. So let me get the cornbread over here so everybody can see it and I can get it cut. Actually, I'm not going to cut that cornbread. Grandpa said you don't cut cornbread.
No, you break it.
You break it. But Grandpa didn't know how hot that was. So I'll just give it a little help. There we go. Sorry, Grandpa. But it's hot. So the way I do it, I just get some cornbread. Well, actually, you can go first. Your ladies first. I'll let you get
wants
yours.
me to get burnt first.
That's right. This is for the soup, and this is to get the beans out.
Really? That looks so good. Excuse me for stepping in front of you, but you got to get your potatoes out first.
I break mine up. I put my cornbread over here. She's already getting her potatoes.
Ooh, those look so good.
This is a true southern meal on Cumberlachia. This is the kind of meal I like.
This is a true southern meal no matter where you make it. We've done everything on Cumberlachia. Today we worked in the garden. We cut down trees. We cooked. We've done everything, I think, haven't we?
I think so.
I do too.
But I've been sweating like crazy. It's in the upper 80s.
I know, you should have seen him.
Right.
He's standing here
Mother.
and he just took my fan, and I have a fan here to cool me off. Not him.
I got the leaf blower.
Blower.
That's hillbilly air conditioning at its best. I want some of these onions on here. I know you just put yours on there whole, but I'm going to cut one up. Taking too long, let's just double it up. And the onion, I think, sets it off.
It does, it really does.
Little onion on there.
Here's your fork.
Thank you. There's your cornbread and beans and fried potatoes. The only thing to make it better is some fried pork chops.
Well, you've got
We'll give
ham
this a
in
try.
it, honey. That's close enough.
True.
Yeah.
That's the best. True Southern cooking from Cumberlachia. Mom and I are going to get busy here and eat some of this stuff. I might share with some of these people sitting back there, but I'm going to eat most of it. So I'm glad Mom's up here with us. We're going to do a couple more videos while she's here. She's just going to keep eating because that's what she does. And we'll be back to you soon. Take care. God bless. Love you.
Thank you. Love you bunches.